Hey guys, Marisa Inda here with Juggernaut Training Systems, and today is the last day of my block. I have been using the JuggernautAI Powerlifting app. So we have bench today. I have to work up to a top set of 5 at a 10 RPE. So excited to share that with you guys and give you some sneak peeks of the app. And we're ready. The app asks for your readiness rating, which is basically, it's going to ask you questions like how long did you sleep? Do you feel good? Do you feel like you ate enough? And this is why this is a great function of the app, because if you feel terrible and you have any type of things that are hurting, it's going to adjust what you do for that day. So you got to be honest and go from there. That's what it looks like. Start workout. And then it gives you what you have today. And I have this top set, 5 reps at a 10 RPE. So we'll start with the warm-ups first and feel how that's feeling, and then determine what the top set is going to be from there. I do have a number in mind. I want to hit 90 kilos for 5 reps. So as I'm going through the warm-ups, I'll let you know how it's feeling and then make adjustments for there. That's my plan A. And then my plan B would probably be 87.5. I think it's important when you're warming up to make sure you're warming up the exact same way you're going to do your top set. So a lot of times people do the bar and they do it any old way. They don't set up the same way that they're going to do their top set. So make sure you make every warm-up set count just as much as your top set. Oh, I think the other question people always ask is, how long should I wait between sets?
Oh yeah, so between warm-up sets, you know, the like bar to 40 kilos for Marisa is like nothing. So it's kind of just put the weights on and do the next set, put the weights on, do the next set. And then as you get, you know, further out into your heavier warm-up sets, closer to your work sets, then you can take maybe, you know, 1 to 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Stronger you are, the longer the rest is going to be. And between your last warm-up set and your top set, you know, that could be 3 to 8 minutes, depending on the lift, 3 to 10 minutes. You know, bench is going to be shorter than squat, which is going to be shorter than deadlift. Someone Marissa's size, even as strong as she is not going to be taking as long a rest as I would be, or the former me. When you get a huge arch and don't move the bar at all, do you feel ashamed and like a cheater and a liar? Or
apparently I should feel ashamed of myself.
How do you sleep at night?
I actually sleep really good. I don't hear anything at night. I sleep like a rock. Apparently, to most gentlemen out there, boobs are only good when you're not arching in the bench press. Otherwise, they're terrible to have. Big old cheater.
How about this weather?
Here's kind of where I start doing less reps. You'll notice like the bar was like 10, then like 8, 6, 3, 2, and then I'll start doing like doubles and singles all the way up until the top set number. I think it's important to, if you're newer to lifting and doing top sets, to kind of take in your training log and write notes about what your warm-ups are so you know what those jumps are. Oftentimes when I have clients and I'm like, well, how do you typically warm up? And they have no idea. They kind of just change it every single time that they're training. So kind of have an idea. Are you taking 2.5 kilo jumps, 5 kilo jumps, 10 kilo jumps? This way, as you're planning your top set and your warm-up strategy, you kind of have an idea of already what you're doing.
So this last warm-up set, 85 kilos for Marisa, like she said, she's got her plan going in of 90 kilos for 5 as her RPE 10 top set. That plan could change based on this set. If it doesn't feel great, you know, maybe it's 87.5. If it felt really great, yeah, maybe she does one more warm-up set at 87 or 90 and then does 92.5. For the bench press, especially for females on the bench press, that's a little bit unlikely that it would be that big of a swing from 87.5 to 92.5. But in the squat or the deadlift, that's going to be a lot more common. So maybe your plan for the day is to do 180 kilos or 405 for 5. And you do your last warm-up set is like 375 for a single, and it just felt incredible. So you think, now I could go up to 425, or you still want to do the 405, but after, let's say your goal is 405 for 5, and after 1 or 2 reps, you should be able to tell, man, this feels great. It's not going to be RPE 10. So you just, put the bar down after 1 or 2 reps, call that another warm-up set, and move up again. So you don't need to, especially as you're newer in your lifting career and you might not be as fine-tuned in on the specific number that you're capable of, you don't need to do 5 reps and then go up and do 5 reps again and go up and do 5 reps again. If you start a set and know that after 1 or 2 reps that it's going to be too easy for the prescribed reps and RPE, go ahead and rack the bar and just call that another warm-up set and bump the weight up so you're not wasting your energy.
With my protons.
Is this sponsored by us by Core Power?
No, RV strength. Sip your protein while you're working out. Letting some 10.
CWS 10.
See, do not use that code. I think there's like this huge misconception with like how we bench, like, oh, you guys don't know you're not strong if you don't bench with the arch. But like the great thing about the app and the way Chad coaches is you're not always just doing the competition bench press only in like the peaking block, but beyond that, when we're in hypertrophy, we do a lot of feet up benching, a lot of benching where you're not always getting into that really big arch. So yes, we are building muscle.
How many times a week have you, how many times this week have you benched?
I've benched 3 times this week.
This is your third?
This is my third. Yeah.
Well, what variations was it the other days?
Feet up spoto press and dumbbell incline pressing. Going good. 3rd rep, bar path kind of got away from me. So it made the 4th and the 5th rep just terrible. Happens a lot of times when you get into a really big arch position, you rely a lot on that technique, and holding that position sometimes under a heavier load is a little bit hard. So if you get off and you're not able to recover it, it does make it a little bit harder. Not all is lost though, just adjust your down sets.
Yeah, I mean, moral of that story was that arch is cheating. I think that was everyone's takeaway. But benching for reps, Marisa's never been particularly good at that relative to how strong she is for singles. She's done 102.5 kilos, 226 in training in the bench, and 100 kilos in a meet. So 90 for 5 is your best ever, right? And it's like today, plenty strong to do 90 for 5, but not, the position gets such a small change and it's a missed rep, but luckily the app's going to account for that.
Yes, I'm going to blame the rain. The moon is not in Saturn's orbit.
What did your
my tarot card? When I flipped my tarot card, it was the Angel of Death. So in the app, I was only able to do 4 reps, so you just knock that down to 4 at 10 RPE. Go ahead and hit done, and then that will adjust my drop down sets. So if you don't make your top set at the 5, not all is lost. That's what the app is for. It'll adjust those down sets for you. And it was a significant drop too, 77.5 kilos. So the great thing about this app is it adjusts. So just gonna show you really quick, if I would have done the 90 kilos for the 5 at a 10 RPE, that would have put my drop downs at 80, but I was only able to do 90 kilos for 4 reps at a 10 RPE, and that went ahead and dropped my drop downs from 80 kilos to 77.5. Great thing about the app, it adjusts the weight for you, so you takes all the thinking out of it, and you just have to be honest with how the RPE felt. So if I would have done that set and it would have felt like a 9 RPE, 77.5 kilos, you will see it will remove one of the drop downs and give me a 75 kilos for my next set. I'm going to show you if that set felt like a 10, like I could not do another one. It removes the rest of my drop down sets. Great thing about the app, it is adjusting to what your input is. Again, it's really important to be honest, not to overshoot every set, but also not to undershoot every set. Arms flex.
3 flex shows?
That's what we're going with.
When's the OnlyFans coming out?
Well, it's a question a lot of us women get. When is the OnlyFans coming out? Probably never. We're coming out with JuggernautAI.com, and that's where we sexualize all the men in the sport. Right?
No.
Let's get this show on the road. I usually have my cool 80s music playing, but not today. Chad knows all about that because he's around my age, right?
False. But I have watched a lot of VH1.
Last set is the best set. So I rated my drop downs at 8 RPE across the board, therefore there were no more changes made in the app. If I would have rated any of those sets harder, it would have either reduced the weight or taken some drop down sets away. If I would have rated it easier, let's say a 6 RPE, it would have added some weight to the drop downs. So today is my second pulling day of the week. For me, it puts it in as a lighter technique day, so you won't be seeing any crazy weight going up. It'll just be easy sets just to kind of keep my technique primed and still get, what do we call it? Preserve my technical prowess.
So for this technique day, our objective is just that, just technical development, and the system's going to give everyone a little bit different work. So Marissa's, primary deadlifting day was on Wednesday. It's Saturday today, so that's her heavier day. She's now alternating periodization. She also still had a deadlift movement on Friday, but that's RDLs, and then she's got the technique day today. If you sign up for the app, depending on how many days a week you train, how strong you are, big, experienced, all that stuff, you're going to get a different setup for your deadlift than Marisa, one of the best deadlifters in the world, 190 kilos in the 52 kilo class, will get. So we're keeping this technical day in here just to satisfy technical SRA, which go watch a variation for fatigue management video to learn more about that. But when you're doing the technical day, you've got to approach it with great intent, with great focus. So even though Marissa's only be doing like 100 kilos today, which, RPE 2, for sets of 3 to 5 reps, it won't adjust no matter what you rate it as, because it expects it to be easy. I guess if you were to rate it as like hard, it would change it, but it won't be, so that won't matter. But even when it's only 100 kilos, it's barely over 50% of her best deadlift. She's going to treat every rep like it's a maximal attempt, so giving it that great attention to detail to develop her technique and develop technical prowess, even during a light session like this. So if you're using the app and you get a day that seems really light to you, that's what it is a technique day. So just approach every rep of that day with the greatest focus possible and maximize the value of that day.
Last one. like just like mental aspect of lifting real quickly, because a lot of people kind of let the frustration of like missing a top set bleed into the rest of their workout. And I think it's important just to put it in its place. That was just happened. Doesn't mean it's going to affect your the rest of your workout or the rest of your block. You can't let it. So you kind of have to put it out of your mind and then just keep going about your training day. So now for the best part of the workout, the accessorizing. In the app, you'll see the exercises given to you with a rep range as well as a reps in reserve range. So since I'm at the end of my block, I have a rep range of 12 to 15 reps with 2 reps in reserve. So basically that means that could be anywhere between 12 and 15 reps, whatever it ends up being, that leaves me with 2 reps in reserve. Also a great function of the app, let's just say I'm at a different gym today and I don't have access to a lat pull down. You can easily swap out the exercises. It'll give you the recommended ones that are going to be the most like the exercise that it was giving you previously. So you're best to choose those, but if you wanted to write something else in, you can, and then it'll give you the option to make that change just for the day, or let's just say you're on vacation somewhere for a month and you need to change that out for the entire block. You can swap that exercise out for the remainder of the block. Function of the app, let's just say you get your accessory movements, you kind of want to keep the pace moving so it doesn't take as long. You can hit this little thing in the corner and you can time in between your sets, make sure that you're keeping it moving and not taking, you don't really need 10 minutes rest between lat pull down. So it's a good little function in the app. So if you don't know what's there, upper right hand corner. The next exercise in my accessory list is side laterals. But the dumbbells here end at 20 pounds, which I could do 20 pound side laterals, 20 pound dumbbell side laterals, but probably could only get 6 really good reps. The rest would probably be a little bit questionable on form. But you guys can always grab plates, put your fingers in the middle, and execute a proper side lateral versus just ego lifting. You've logged everything, you're gonna hit finish workout, and it's gonna ask you to give an end of session rating, okay? And it works kind of like the RPE. If I did 7, I would say the average felt good. I could have had a lot more in the tank. So you have to be honest with the end of session rating as well, because then that adjusts how your training is gonna look for the following week. Session difficulty for me, I'm gonna say like a 9. It was hard, challenging, but I was still able to get it done. Even though I missed my top set, the rest of the workout was really, really smooth. So I'm not gonna judge the whole session rating just based on that one lift. So thank you guys so much for following along with my training today. I hope that you found this information useful. Even though I didn't have the day that I wanted, not making my top set, the app made the adjustments that I needed to have a very productive training session. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and get the Juggernaut AI app on Android or Apple.